Auburn once again finds a way to lose a game under Hugh Freeze, 23-17. Got to give a bunch of credit to Missouri. Again, we're almost to 200,000 subs. Make sure you're subbed. If not, come on, let's go. Let's get in the party. Blaine Crain, former Western State Colorado wide receiver. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback. And look, I've come on here the past couple times and said that Hugh Freeze needs to go. It's time. I think it's about to happen. You know, my thing at this point is, not to pile on. Again, I know the guy personally. At the time when you look at the coaching candidates that were out there, I thought he'd have a chance. I'm always going to give a new coach the benefit of the doubt because I've been in it and I understand it. But the softness of Hugh Freeze, I think that's the first thing I want to touch on. His inability to get his team to come through in clutch moments, his ineptitude, because I don't think he's stupid. I mean, you're not dumb and get to be the head coach at a place like Auburn. But oh my goodness. I mean, this guy's made every mistake you could possibly make when it comes to offensive decisions, talent evaluation. And what I really feel for, honestly, is the younger generation of Auburn fans that didn't get to witness and go through what, me and Blaine and, Auburn fans were able to go through with the winning. This is not typically how it is. He's proven himself to be a failure here at Auburn. And I don't say that with any joy. I don't take any personal gratitude in saying that. But I tell you what a disaster from a mentality. And you can read all the, he has these documents that he goes around and he talks to the team. I just don't think they think you're about it, man. I just don't think it. And you bring in another dud at quarterback. We say it every single week. The guy couldn't read a page out of a Harry Potter book, I think, if you asked him to. It's Blaine, I'll start with you. It's just, man, it's unbelievably disappointing. And he's got to be fired. You have to fire him. And you got to make DJ the interim. It's past the point of anger and being upset. It's just an absolute lack of ability to put together anything offensively that looks cognizant. And your quarterback evaluation sucks, dog. It's just the truth, man. We can sit here and parade around the point, but I think a lot of Auburn fans are done with him.
Well, yeah, I don't think Auburn fans need to turn this into a bigger sob story than what it is. Look, you missed on a head coach. It sucks, but it's part of the business. It's the way it works. And we're not acting like Hugh Freeze has a $50 million buyout, a $60 million buyout. He has a $15 million buyout.
Yeah, you got to get him out.
Right. And, yeah, I think it's time. I think the proof's in the pudding. It's another loss. I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn had a new head coach when it came to Monday. I mean, I've never seen a team and a staff find a way to lose games as much as this staff and this team has. And it sucks because I do think Auburn has a really good defense. I really think they play from an intensity standpoint. I feel like they do make mistakes in big moments, but I feel like that's a culture thing. That's not only on the defense. But look, I think it kind of goes on the other side of what Drinkowitz has built at Missouri.
Yeah.
That winning culture to where, look, we're not the old Missouri where we're just going to show up here, we're going to lose, take our money and run. No, they have a legitimate talent, and they find a way to win games. Right? They couldn't figure that out against Alabama. That's a setback for sure. But you come back the next week and you find a way on the road in a hostile environment. This isn't surprising to me from the Auburn standpoint. Trust me, I see it every weekend. I'm not surprised. But this is big for Missouri and what they have in their schedule if you go through it.
No, I mean, David, Missouri had to have this one. I mean, they had to have it. You go to Vandy next weekend, I believe. And we talk about that cushion and that 10-2, but man, I tell you again, I just, anybody that's a fan of a decent sized brand out there that sees the people pay their money and do this. I mean, what an abject failure Hugh Freeze has been. And you're bad at what you're supposed to be good at. If Auburn was losing 45-42, not that it would feel better, but you would at least be like, hey, we knew he was an offensive guy. This didn't work. I mean, this is just – he's just bad at this, man.
Well, I'm just a little confused as to how we arrived here. You know, if Auburn gave Hugh Freeze a chance because he was a legendary high school head coach and was making that
Yeah.
jump and he struggled, okay. Or if he only had success at Liberty or the Group of Five, okay, that's kind of what Florida's dealing with Billy Napier. But I've seen Hugh Freeze in this very league be highly competitive, and they're just not competitive right now. And so I guess my question to you guys, and even on top of that, to your point, Jake, even if you were losing games but being competitive on the offensive side of the ball, that would be one thing, but it's completely the opposite. It's the defense that time and time again is even keeping them in these games. But I guess my question to you guys is, what now then? I mean, Gus Malzahn did some good things, but Auburn moves on, then hires Brian Harsin. That didn't work out, moves on, hires Hugh Freeze. That is not working out. So if they do let Hugh Freeze go, like, what would possibly be the plan for Auburn?
Well, to be honest with you, I think a plan's kind of been in motion the past couple of weeks. I think you named DJ Durkin the interim. And I think John Summerall's a guy that they've really looked at. Now, people throw Lane Kiffin, some other names out there. I don't think Lane's leaving Ole Miss, whether it's Auburn or Florida or whatever. I would be surprised at that. But I mean, again, if you're John Cohen, it's about to start hurting you in the pocketbook. That's the biggest thing. I mean, Auburn showed out. I mean, you look at the atmosphere against Georgia, you look at the atmosphere against Missouri. Auburn fans are loyal, but they're not stupid. And at this point, I think and we saw this in the Brian Harsin era. The minute it starts hurting you in the pocketbook, you're done, because it is a business at the end of the day. So, look, I keep going back to, and maybe this was the mistake when I vouch for Hugh Freeze, is that the guy's really never won anything. If you really look at it, I mean, he needed the chick from The Blind Side to tell him what to do in high school. It's just, and I know, David, how much you love that.
Yeah, okay.
But like, it's
I don't know if that really happened, Jake.
I don't know. At this point, I think it might have.
Dramatic
are we
retelling
doubting
of the
that now?
situation.
Sometimes
I'd like to know, to be honest.
No,
that would be
actually,
very telling for me.
For sure.
That'd be very telling.
The dumbassery of Auburn's offense, the more I think that Shania,
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock's character, what really did help them. It's just, here's the thing though. What do? You hold on to them just to, you're going to lose players after this year, regardless, on the roster. You're going to, because it's such a dumpster fire on offense.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Jake, to your point. Now, I'm on record as saying I'm not a big fan of firing head coaches in the middle of the season because, you still got guys here. This will be the last season of football they ever play, some of these seniors, right? And it can be demoralizing to remove the guy who recruited them and you're playing for. But I watch UCLA do it, and they won a couple games in a row, and they're competitive. Yeah. I watch UAB do it, and what'd they do today? They beat Memphis. So there can be something to a fresh set of eyes and a new guy in charge. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that would solve all these problems that Auburn has, but I have seen around the country some of these teams pulling the trigger on these coaches, and they get some wins under their belt.
Well, at this point, offensively, I think you could give a monkey a yo-yo and figure out a way to score more points. That's how bad it's been. But it's just, it's a business decision. Like the Auburn fans are looking at that. They're done with Hugh Freeze. I'm just telling you. I've got a pretty decent pulse on the fan base. I think Blaine will tell you the same thing. They're done with this guy. Like it's he promised the world, and it goes back to Bruce Pearl's got a great quote. Under promise and over deliver. I think that's the way to go about it. But I want to make sure we talk about Missouri as well, Blaine, and then being able to go in there and win and being down, even though it's against an Auburn team that offensively, basically you gotta tie a piece of rope to the cafeteria to let them hold on to get to lunch. But Missouri found a way to win this game. They had to win this game. Bo Prabula. It wasn't pretty, but it
struggles. He struggles. Like
again though, it shows you. 23 points beats Auburn at home in overtime.
Look, it was crazy.
What else do I need to say?
It's crazy enough we scored 17. We scored 17.
Well, you got
I was
we
as happy as
somehow
a clam.
we get the worst kicker the worst punter from Australia. We get a McPherson at kicker, and God bless him. I know he's had health problems.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I don't think you have to have a perfect system to make a 38-yard field goal, but maybe that's just me. It's just God. These
it's
guys
like,
find
it's
a way
just
to.
the Auburn. If your team needs to find hope,
Yeah, play
if
Auburn.
your team needs to find belief, right? If your team needs to find confidence, right? Auburn's the team you want to play,
Yeah.
right? Because it's Auburn at this point. They just find ways to lose games. I don't even think Missouri won that game. I think Auburn pretty sure lost it for sure. And it kind of goes back. It's just Auburn's like, I don't know if y'all remember those. What was the Sears and Unfortunate Event books where that
the
house
Lemony
was on those
Snicket.
shaky,
Yeah.
little shaky things. It's just one thing happens. Like they didn't call that pass interference call, and this everything. Everybody is just everything went out the window.
Well, you're mentally weak. That's the thing.
That's just a culture from your head coach.
Because your head coach is mentally weak.
And I don't think don't make it personal. Look, I mean, you can feel bad. That's fine. He makes $7 million a year.
Yeah.
All right. Look, this is a business, right? You win games. If you don't, you get fired. Enjoy all the money. But it just goes back to like in nowadays, right? It's so much easier to fix when it comes with the transfer portal and money. Auburn has money. You can bring a guy in here and win, right? It's not as big as a deal as people are making out to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the new age of it's, you don't want to fire a coach too quick, but you can also turn it around really quickly. But again, if you're Missouri, you survive. How good is Missouri? I think that's a question we're going to have to continue to ask when we look at college football playoff and things like that. But, they did find a way to win this football game. And I think that shows you why they extended Drink, obviously, with what he's done there. And it's a big win for them when they had to survive. So, David, moving forward, we can talk about Auburn and their struggles all they want, but this is a huge night for Missouri to be able to move on.
And they got their own problems, but with those problems, they have an identity, they have a confidence, they have a head coach that's exciting. Even watching him in the post-game interview, I'm like, man, I'd love to play for that guy, or I'd love to have a son play for that guy. And so, look, they got everything in front of them, but great win.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add, Blaine?
Look, I'm just telling you, that guy over there, head coach of North Texas, wouldn't be a bad look. Saying up him 80 points a game. He was Patrick Mahomes, quarterback coach. Oh, look, we're going to dive into it. Just the coaching movement that's already going to happen these next couple of weeks.
For sure. Well, all right. Well, make sure you're sub. We're going to have a lot more as this continues to develop. Just golly, what another gut punch for Auburn fans. But, at the end of the day, you're kind of used to it. It's almost masochism at this point. But we appreciate you joining us. Make sure you're locked in. We'll see you soon.